Turbo and 2K show.
What is up, everybody? It is that time of the week again, and yes, I am super excited about today. Yes, as you can see, I am rolling solo. 2Ks and Christian had a hell of a weekend, so they are bowing out this week. But yeah, I still got a hell of a show, got a lot to cover. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get into this with you guys and gals. And yes, we are live on not only Twitter or X, the Facebook group, YouTube, of course, and over on TikTok as well. So everyone sit back and enjoy. If you are on YouTube and X, go ahead and drop a comment, and I'll be able to feature you like this. So I can't wait. Like I said, we're gonna have one hell of a show, And going to start off the show with a couple of shout outs. First of all, here in Marcellus, shout out to all the graduates, and I guess across the country, not just Marcellus, but and especially special shout out to our youngest son Keegan. I know how much of a struggle it has been for you, buddy, but you did it. Congratulations from the heart. Love you to pieces, and as well as to everyone, all the other graduates out there, whether you're college or high school. If you've been through it, you know how tough it is. So great time of year. Enjoy those grad parties and enjoy probably the next week or so, because real life's going to hit you in the face real quick. So big shout out to them, and big shout out to the Marcellus varsity baseball team. Unfortunately, they did come up short in their quest for the championship, but they made it to the championship game and ended up dropping that one. But nonetheless, the records were set. The undefeated regular season, win the division, go on to the next round, and ended up losing in the championship is not anything to scoff about. So big shout out to them. And I could not be more proud of everybody. But yeah, 2K crew, let's jump into some news here. This normally with the news, we kind of talk about everything. And I've got a whole smorgasbord here of just about everything. And if you do like the hat I'm wearing, it is available in our Etsy store. So the link is in the comments. So get on that. And yes, since we've been live, Bill Walton did pass away. Bill Walton, such a colorful, unique individual. As far as him as a person, I really enjoyed him, but him as a broadcaster, could not stand him. Could not remember the last time the Conference of Champions won actually a championship, but nonetheless, he will be missed. He was a very, very awesome person, and a big shout out to him and his family, T's and P's. God definitely gained a unique one there. So I'm sure he's painting all the colors of the rainbow in the sky. So yes, big shout out to him. And for those of you that, let me go back here. This one here was really a really cool story, one that I really enjoyed and kind of got caught by surprise. And while I was cruising Twitter here the last couple days trying to get ready for the show, found out that there was a school that was closing and their baseball team was still playing. And if you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, this is, let me show it here first. Birmingham Southern closed the doors of the school on Friday. Saturday, walk-off home run to stay alive in the D3 College World Series. To me, this is kind of insane. The school had been open for over 160 years. All of a sudden, the funding for the school runs out, and the baseball team just happens to go on a massive run. And not only are they on a massive run, they are also being funded by a GoFundMe page, which I thought was wild. That a GoFundMe is funding the trip through the World Series. Yes, they did drop the first game. They are in the elimination bracket, so it's every game from here on out is win or go home. But you know what? I think it's cool as shit that they're doing this, that they're persevering, that they're pushing through, and it's just completely awesome in my opinion. And again, the name of the school is Birmingham Southern. I believe they are playing or did play today. I did not get any update as to when or what the score was. So big shout out to those boys. I cannot wait. And that is tweeted by Brad Galley. I believe he's with Fox Sports Detroit or something along those lines. So yeah, cool story. And I hate to switch gears here, 2K crew, but a not cool story. This is a day in history. For the fellow Tigers fans out here, this is kind of a jab in an open wound. 14 years ago today, Armando Galarraga pitched a 28 out perfect game. I think as Tigers fans, we can all remember where we were when this happened. We watched it go down live, and it was absolutely insane. Total blown call by Jim Joyce. And looking at the reactions, I was, excuse me. If I was Armando Galarraga in that situation, I would have been furious. I would have been absolutely furious. But he handled it way more professionally than I did. Excuse me, allergies has got me doing something. And Jim Joyce immediately knew that he screwed up. Now, rewind, this was 14 years ago, so instant replay was not a thing then. So could not be overturned. It is what it is, and it lives in infamy. June 2nd, every year, the day that Armando Galarraga threw the 28 out. Now, you might be saying 28 outs. What does that mean? Well, as you know, baseball has 27 outs, and he actually got the 27th out. The call was blown, and he proceeded to keep his cool and get the 28th guy out. So the only 28 out perfect game in MLB history, June 2nd, 14 years ago. So, like I said, it's definitely not a memory that Tigers fans love to hear, but baseball fans, I mean, it's kind of a kind of a kickback to how things were and how different the landscape of baseball was 14 years ago as compared to today. Whereas today that would have been overturned, game would have been a perfect game. We would have seen at the time, I believe it was the 28th perfect game. I'm just shooting off the hip here, but at the time I do believe it would have been the 28th perfect game. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But I think the happening like this, it will be remembered forever. I've seen a handful of perfect games in my life and can't remember hardly any of them. So maybe this is beneficial. Who knows? Who knows? Let's see here. I got some news on Trevor Bauer. Mark Caboli, he's a Pittsburgh beat writer, normally for the Steelers. I'm not sure why he's commenting on Trevor Bauer, but this is 100% true. Trevor Bauer, 5-0, 1.5 ERA, 62 Ks in 42 innings in the Mexican League. Now, as an avid Red Sox fan, I look at this and I'm like, man, yes, the Red Sox rotation is good. Are they deep? No. Could they be improved? Absolutely. And at this point in time, you're going to get Trevor Bauer at pennies on the dollar. He's even said he would play for the vet min. And as we move along on the season, I really don't know. And this episode might have some controversial subjects in it, but the dude wasn't even convicted of anything. He is innocent. It is proven that his accusers were lying and trying to extort money from him. So I'm not sure what the big deal is. I really don't. This man has served his time for whatever reason, kicked out of baseball, has played in the Mexican League, has played everywhere. And why isn't this guy on a major league roster? He's showing that he can indeed not only pitch effectively, but pitch elitely, as if he's never even left the Dodgers. Now, had this never happened, can you imagine what the Dodgers would be right now with a healthy Trevor Bauer on their team? Man, nope. I really don't want to. I don't want to live in that world, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. And someone please get this man on a roster. He deserves it. Oh, and yes, I understand a lot of people had a bad taste in their mouth with the antics that he was doing prior to this. And you can even say prior to the joining the Dodgers, but pitchers are quirky people. Let's be honest. Pitchers are extremely quirky people. And I've listened to and watched, I think 3 or 4 podcasts with him, kind of explaining what, his upbringing, his story. And he is just a baseball dude. I mean, that's almost to a detriment to himself, which is kind of why he got into this whole scenario to begin with. So maybe he was, you could say, was he a little naive? Sure. Does that make up for what happened? Like I said, I don't know, because nothing really happened. Nothing really happened. It's been proven. So front offices, let's get off our ass. And yes, the Red Sox need to sign this guy stat. Sign him stat. And here's kind of an uplifting little bit of news here. This is from Samantha Steele Ponder over on Twitter. Just overheard my kids talking about tobacco and kissing downstairs. I was about to walk down and figured out what is happening. Turns out they're watching The Sandlot. Never mind, rite of passage. Yes, absolutely, 100%. Can't even be mad at that. Can't even be mad at that. That is completely awesome. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that's parenting goals right there. That is what you want to see and hear from your kids, watching The Sandlot, reminiscing, hanging out, and ultimately not fighting with one another. I think that's the biggest takeaway of all of that. I think that's the biggest takeaway, and yes, that's completely awesome. Speaking of awesome, being a Notre Dame fan, I thought this was rather cool. College game day is in College Station, Week 1, Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. tweeted by God Country Irish. Go Irish. Yeah, this is going to be really cool. This is going to be really cool. This is a big season for the Irish. It's a big put up. I'm not going to say put up or shut up, but it's the next step in the evolution of Coach Freeman and his recruiting and his teams. And if the progression keeps up, I can't wait to see where this team ends up. I cannot wait to see where this team and again, we're going to the expanded playoff. So this is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome. And to kind of see how the Big Ten shakes out with all of the expansion and how travel is going to be a thing, how, we're looking at, USC traveling to Penn State, let's say, or Rutgers late in the season. How are they going to react to, the cold, the snow, the icky weather that quite frankly is not in California. So it's going to be a really cool college football season, and I can't wait to bring you guys and gals along with us. Excuse me. Man, pardon me. While all this goes down, I absolutely cannot wait. Cannot wait. I'm already excited for college football. I know, and I to be honest with you, I shouldn't, because we're balls deep into the baseball season. We've got the finals for the NHL set up. We've got the finals for the NBA set up. This is where the kind of the focus should be. But man, with everything with the spring games and now all the I keep seeing all the recruiting. Love every minute of it. Can't wait. But yes, ultimately do not want to wish my summer away. So that cannot be more stoked. Cannot be more stoked. All right, got another one here. The Kansas City Chiefs visited the White House over the week, and if you remember the last year, Travis Kelce decided he was going to try to steal the mic and give a little address while this was happening. But this year, President Biden, he actually was invited up to the podium to speak by President Biden. And he said a little bit, and he said, President Biden, they told me if I came up here, I'd get tased, so I'm going back to my spot. And yes, the president did don a Kansas City Chiefs helmet. You're not seeing that incorrectly. But this is a tweet from Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet. Just a really cool story, because I mean it was kind of laughed at, and just a real good time. Last year when the president went over to get the jersey, and he just kind of swooped in, said like 2 or 3 words, and Mahomes just kind of scooped him right up. So nothing really happened. But yeah, that was completely awesome. Loved every minute of it. And for Travis to kind of get some, everything to come full circle, I think that's awesome. All right, I got one more here, bit of news before we move on to the Caitlin Clark, Aaron Judge portion of the episode here. But this is talking about Mr. Paul Skeens. If you don't know who Paul Skeens is, he is the prospect that most MLB fans really have been waiting to see. Pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I mean, just an awesome, not only person, but awesome player. But Jeff Passan said 4 starts into his time with the Pirates. Here are Paul Skeens' numbers. 22 innings, 15 hits, 2 home runs, 5 walks, 30 strikeouts, 2.45 ERA. It may be just the beginning of Skeens' career, but he's already establishing himself as one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. And if you haven't seen him pitch, he is absolutely electric. This is something, it is must-watch TV. Dude has a splinker, which he basically invented a whole new pitch that no one else throws, which I think is pretty sick. But yeah, it is just completely nasty. And partner him and the other rookie there in Pittsburgh, Jones, I believe his name is, both of them throw over 100 miles an hour consistently as starters. It's just all right. Well, this Pittsburgh Pirates team has a very good young nucleus, so I'm really curious to see if the ownership gets off some of that cash. I mean, they've got a young nucleus. This is what you've been drafting for. This is what you've been looking for. Now is the time for it to pay off, and you got to lock these guys down if you want to have any chance in competing not only in your division but in the National League. And this is the time. Get them while they're young, a la the Atlanta Braves, and Yeah, if you haven't been paying attention to the Pirates, the time is now. The time is now. They have an electric starting pitching staff with Skeens and Jones. They've got O'Neal Cruz, Ke'Bryan Hayes, a really great nucleus of players to build around. And Reynolds is kind of the elder statesman of the group. And yes, it is rather serene seeing Andrew McCutchen hit a home run in a Paul Skeens start. I mean, you're seeing the complete elder statesman and the young buck all at the same time in the same game. You know, McCutchen was the face of that franchise for many years before his talent started to dwindle, and he kind of made the, you know, the veteran kind of wander throughout the league, and he ended up back in Pittsburgh, signed a contract for one more year to play this year, and he is making an impact, whether it's on the field or in the clubhouse. Dividends are paying on that contract. So all right, that is the news, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're going to jump into the good stuff. Let me take a drink here real quick. All right. Yes, let's jump into this Caitlin Clark controversy. I'm going to give you my kind of 2 cents on everything, and then I scoured the internet for not only reactions. I wanted to get reactions from a vast group of people, so it's not just one demographic commenting on this. And these were, when I was looking for these, I wasn't like saying, all right, I'm trying to find ones that agreed with what I was thinking. These were just general comments. So this is just my thought process. Let me know in the comments what you guys and gals think. But let's start off with the first one here. This is from Colin Rugg. Not really sure what Colin does, but he says WNBA player. Hold on, I'm going completely out of turn and completely going against what I said I was going to do. But for those of you that don't know, during the Indiana Fever game last night, towards the end of the game, Caitlin Clark was just, blatantly shoved. I mean, pretty much forearm shiver while she wasn't even looking. Completely not a basketball play. And the player who did this, they did call a foul, but everyone was wanting a flagrant 1 instead of a flagrant 2. And I believe they even went and reviewed it and came up with still a flagrant 2. And for those of you that don't know, this is not the first time this has happened to Caitlin. It seems like she's getting bullied every single game, everywhere she goes. And it's to be honest with you, it's kind of silly. It's kind of stupid, and I really don't understand it. And you could look at it from one or two perspectives. Okay. The only reason that I even pay attention to WNBA is Caitlin Clark. It isn't for anybody else. Does her team stink? Yes. The Indiana Fever do stink. I believe they only won 2 or 3 games so far. This is not like Iowa where she's going to play for national titles. But there's a reason why the Fever have had the past 2 number 1 overall picks, and it takes time. It honestly takes time. And for those of you that are like, she stinks, she does this, she does that, we'll get to that. And we'll get to kind of some of the news that I found before going live that I didn't have time to make slides for. So we'll get to that. So here's kind of the two thought processes here. You could look at Caitlin Clark as being a good thing because she's bringing attention, eyes, money, everything to the WNBA. But there's the other, and that's going to help fill everyone's pocket, not only the owners, not only Caitlin Clark, but everybody. It's going to push the envelope where they're going to have to raise the salary cap. They're going to have to raise money, period. And yes, I know there's Breanna Stewart's come out with this whole new 3-on-3 league that's going to be paying more than the WNBA. It's only going to be 10 weeks, kind of a la the Big 3, which Ice Cube is doing. But we'll just toss that to the side for right now. That's a whole other topic, whole other conversation. But for right now, let's focus on this. Caitlin Clark being in the NBA is a good thing for everybody associated with the WNBA. We've even seen it go so far as to her, just because she's there, they're flying all the teams privately instead of commercially. And that I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. So you could have the thought process of, not only is she the golden goose because she is this talented, but she's going to bring more eyes, more attention, more money, more everything into the organization as a whole, which is going to funnel down to the players. That's one. The other one is like, who is this bitch? She doesn't do anything. She's Miss Press. She's only, she hasn't done anything yet. She's garnering all this attention. Fuck her. Those are the two pretty much avenues you can go down with this subject. And the one on the left, the second one I just talked about, I think is absolutely asinine. Yes, you can be a little bit jealous of what she has done or what she hasn't done, but ultimately you need to take a look back and be like, my situation is going to be better for this. So I think the second take is, I think ignorant is way too hard of a word, but it's, you're looking with blinders and you're being completely introspective on how is this, I've worked and which rightfully so. If you worked your ass off to get to this point, kudos to you. But don't you think Kaitlyn's worked too? Think about that. That's whenever you do this, you have to think about both sides of the coin. And with this side, I honestly think that the left side or the second avenue that I talked about is completely wrong. That's just my opinion. We're going to get into some other ones that go a little bit deeper here, which is, like I said, this part's going to get controversial. Do I agree with all of it? No, but I just want to throw it out there because I have a feeling that most of the media outlets are not going to go down this route. So I figured, what the hell? Let's start off with this one. I know I showed it to you. This is Colin Rugg. WNBA basketball player Caitlin Clark gets cheap shotted, called a bitch. And then Angel Reese, that's the part I didn't explain. Angel Reese stands up to celebrate. Just last week, The View co-host Sunny Hostin argued that Caitlin had white privilege and pretty privilege. Race baiter Jamel Hill also claimed that Clark's popularity was due to her race and sexuality. Clark is being bullied from all angles, but these clowns want you to think that she is the issue. I know there's a lot to unpack there. And the second part there that I did not go over, if you did not see it, is after the play was over, the players from the floor were going to the bench, and Angel Reese was hugging and high-fiving the player that did this. Now, if you remember back here during the draft, they were all friendly and buddy, and I don't hate Caitlyn. No, I don't hate Caitlyn. Caitlyn's my friend. Well, obviously not. I mean, this even goes back to the whole ring thing right in her face. Do I think that Angel Reese is jealous? Absolutely. 100%. Even though she beat her LSU team beat Caitlin Clark 2 years ago. Caitlin got revenge this year. Does that kind of fuel the fire a little bit? Sure, probably. But completely, hugging after what happened, congratulating, hugging, and high five the player that did this, completely out of line. And if you've watched this show for any amount of time, you know that when something like this happens, I'm normally pro player on this one. I think the media blows everything way out of proportion, but in this case, I cannot be pro player on this one. I've got to take a stand on this one. This is completely outrageous, completely egregious, and the thing that really chaps my ass, 2K crew, is we're seeing now kind of a little bit of punishment being doled down from the WNBA, but like I said, if this was a standalone occurrence, I could see what's happening so far, but this is not. She's getting bullied around and just shoved and pushed and hit, and for the other player to call her a bitch before she shoves her down, yeah, I can't really get on board with that. Let's go to another one here. This is from Casey Smith. Before Caitlin Clark got drafted, WNBA players talked shit. She, quote unquote, struggled in her debut and people celebrated. Now she's balling on a bad team and players are openly taking cheap shots. Hell of a way to treat the player who single-handedly puts you in the spotlight, ladies. Casey, I 125% agree with you. That is the only that's the only avenue you should take. That is the only thought process you should have. And whether you think it's, I'm not riding the Caitlyn train. I'm not about that. This isn't, this is me. You can have that thought process all you want. You can have it behind closed doors. You can have it in your locker room. But when it comes to out on the court, can't have it. Cannot have it. Cannot have it. Let's go to another one here. This is another one from Colin here. And this is after the game, the press conference. Okay. Player who body checked Caitlin Clark says she ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions after getting questioned by a reporter. I believe her name is Chennedy Carter, slammed Clark to the ground in a 71-70 loss to Clark and the Indiana Fever. Reporter: on the play before bumping into Caitlin, it seemed like she turned to you a little bit. Carter: I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions. Coward. I agree. If you're gonna do something like this, at least own up to it. At least own up to it, and because everyone saw it. Everyone saw it. And if you're gonna be an asshole in public. Back it up with your words and just admit that you did something wrong. That's all it is. And if Chennedy would have come out and said, yes, I did that on purpose, I cannot stand her, do not like her one bit. Would it make the action okay? No. But would it make it more relatable? Sure. Would you be, it's one of those, it's the check that your ass would cash? Yeah. It gives it a little bit more validity and a little bit more just ownership of the action. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but that's kind of where I'm at. 2K Crew. That's kind of where I'm at. This is from Ben Stevens, and I talked about, and there was a tweet that came out that said that Chennedy said all she can shoot is threes. How special is she? Well, this is how special she is. This is from Ben Stevens. Excuse me. Caitlin Clark's first 10 WNBA career games, 169 points, 65 assists, 54 rebounds. Clark now joins Sabrina Ionescu as the only players in WNBA history with 150 plus points, 50 plus assists, 50 plus rebounds in their first 10 games. Historic #1 picks. And so, yeah, that's what she's done in the 10 games that she's been in the league. So it's not like all she can do is shoot threes. I mean, Caitlin Clark is probably one of the most complete basketball players, male or female, that I've seen in quite a long time. So to just label her as a three-point shooter, I think is asinine. And if that's your opinion of her, you're overlooking a whole bunch of other stuff. So to kind of just pigeonhole her into that one, it'd be like saying Steph Curry. That's all he does is shoot threes. No, Steph's game, the MVPs and stuff, being in the MVP conversation, not this year, years previous, kind of would tell you a little bit differently. And I think moving forward, you're going to see Caitlin's name being in the MVP discussion year in and year out, because that is the type of player she is, not just a three-point artist. Okay, so this is the tweet that is the controversial one. And this is from a gentleman named Gabriel Morency at Sports Rage. He does a lot of gambling. He has a whole show around gambling, sports betting. But he says, why don't we cut to the chase here, since no one else will? Hashtag WNBA. Players aren't upset at Caitlin Clark because of charter planes or shoe deals. They don't like her because she's white. Let's be real here. Now, do I agree with that 100%? No. Do I agree with it the vast majority of my person? I'm leaning that way. I'm sure leaning that way. Because if you watch the, I'm not going to say highlights, but the clips of her getting cheap shotted, body checked, shoved, the players that are doing this are not white. And this is not a me being racist thing. Look them up. This is me being watching with my two eyes and letting you know what I've seen. Maybe you haven't seen the highlights. I have. And this is what's going on. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. To me, it doesn't matter what color your skin is. If you can play the sport, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. If you're elite at what you do, I'll watch it. I don't care. But when it's this obvious, Gabe is right. And whether I think that's the thing that's stirring in the drink or the underlying cause of all of it, that's the part where I kind of have to take a step back. Is it the root cause of everything? TBD. TBD. I'm definitely not standing on that soapbox and preaching that to the to the world, but the evidence is kind of lining up like that. So judge how you will. I mean, that's the way that I see it, and obviously the way Gabe sees it. And if you follow Gabe on Twitter, he caught a backlash, which rightfully so. When you put something out there like that, you kind of have to expect some backlash. But in this case, I think the people that are backlashing have not watched the clips, have not. So, kind of, if you think I'm 125% wrong, so be it. Take the time and watch the clips. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. All right. Well, 2K Crew, I think that's the most controversial thing we've ever talked about on the show. So there you are. There's our throwing our hat into the world of politics, I guess you would call it. But that hat will be grabbed back really quick because this is a sports show, not a politics show. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and yes, I'm going to talk about Aaron Judge. It's going to seem like I'm going to be gargling his balls while wearing a Red Sox shirt. I get it. Don't point out the completely obvious. But on the other hand, when anyone is playing baseball at the rate that Aaron Judge is, I'm going to talk about him. I'm going to talk about him just because it needs to be discussed. And when that's the case, then it really does need to be discussed. And I'm going to open up FanDuel here. Of course, it's not going to do it. Hold on. Ah, shit. Helps if I put in the right password. All right, awards. Let's see here. American League MVP. Okay, if you guys and gals remembered last week, we talked about Gunnar Henderson being the American League MVP. Or 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And he was, I believe he was the second favorite as far as the betting wise is concerned. He's now dropped to third in 2 weeks. I am still very much pro Gunnar Henderson again in the Red Sox division. Dude hit his, I believe, 19th home run today, leadoff home run. Dude is a stud, steals bases. I mean, he's what you want your star player to be. And just, I mean, his play has just gone above and beyond. I believe he's 22. He's 22 years old doing all this. But we talked about him last week or 2 weeks ago. So, right now, as we're recording this, Aaron Judge is the favorite at plus 200, Juan Soto at plus 210, and our boy Gunnar is plus 550. So the run that Aaron Judge has been on catapulted him to a plus 200 favorite. And you might be asking yourself, well, why? Why would what happened? What happened? Well, let me see here. Here we go. Could this be the answer? The New York Yankees have had some good hitting instructors over the past, but no one better than George Costanza. I mean, but no, for real. If you guys do not follow Jay Hay from the Baseball is Dead podcast on Twitter, excuse me, And you're a baseball fan, you need to, because he drops nuggets all over Twitter, which is why his name is Nugget Chef. He says Aaron Judge is one of 3 players in the last 2 decades to have a 25-game stretch with 15 plus home runs and a 1.5 OPS, along with Shohei Ohtani in 23, Judge in 22, and Jose Batista back in 2011. So does this happen a lot? No. This is a run that is quite impressive, which is why Judge is a Yankee, but I like watching him play. I really do. If he was on the Red Sox, it'd be a lot better, or any other team besides the Yankees or Dodgers, I'd love it. But what he's doing needs to be discussed and went over and kind of put into a box as to how amazing what he's doing is. And like Jay Hay said there, and here's another one. He hit his 21st home run yesterday, 464 feet. And what kind of makes this bittersweet is he did it against the Giants, which is the team that he was kind of rumored to leave in free agency, but yet came back to the Yankees, which, to be honest with you, all of us knew was going to happen. But kind of bittersweet because if we've talked about in this offseason, with Ohtani and all of the hubbub that came about when he was a free agent, the Giants were ready, the Giants had the money. It seems like no one wants to take the Giants' money, and it came down to that when it came down to Judge's free agency as well. So sucks to be the Giants because you have money, you want to get in the free agency splash, but no one will take your money, no one will sign on the dotted line. So it was kind of bittersweet for that to happen yesterday against the Giants. So kind of a little bit of perspective there. This is another one from Jay Hay. Aaron Judge's 1.544 OPS over his last 25 games is the 3rd highest OPS by any player over 25 game span in the last 15 years. Behind Christian Yelich's 1.576 in 2018 and Ohtani's 1.549 in 2022. Just to kind of give you some dropping some knowledge bombs there, because it doesn't happen that often. What he's doing, I'm not saying is historic by any means, but does it happen every year? No. Which again is why we need to talk about this. And I believe I have one more here. This is from Jeff Passan. If you are a baseball fan and don't follow the Jet, I think you're insane, because he's like the Woj of baseball. He's the Adam Schefter of baseball. So any breaking news, any signings, any hot stove, this is the gentleman you need to be taking a look at. It says Aaron Judge in May by the numbers. 14 home runs, next most 11. 1.415 OPS, next best 1.061. 0.488 on base percentage, next best 0.447. 0.928 slug, next best 0.686. 928, next best 686. That is gigantic. 100 mile an hour average exit velocity, next best 98.3. 371 batting average, behind only Luis Arias 3.89. 27 RBIs, only behind Jose Ramirez 33. So yes, this dude is on pace to, he already has the American League single season home run record. Am I saying he's going to break it this year? TBD. If you look at that lineup, and yes, I did have the standings here. The Yankees are 42-19, 3 games ahead of the Orioles, and 11.5 ahead of the Red Sox, and their 42 wins is best in the league. The Phillies have 42, and they are playing the Cardinals right now. And we have a tie ball game in Philly, bottom of 5-4-4. So with a win, the Phillies could match the Yankees win total here. And actually would have a better record because they have 1 fewer loss. We're also talking about the Yankees and the Phillies with the only teams. Yes, The only teams that have a run differential of plus 100 or greater. So yeah, these teams are kind of stacking up to. Now it's going to be crazy is the hot stove and the trade deadline. Who's going to do what? Um, that's going to be just amazing to watch. And so yeah, the Yankees are poised. The Yankees obviously, I mean that it's been no secret that the Yankees and the Orioles, it's going to come down to one of those two to win the division, and the one that doesn't win the division is going to get a wild card. It's pretty much just an open and closed case at that point. And with that lineup, the Yankee lineup in particular, you would have to think that teams are going to kind of have to give the whole Barry Bonds treatment to Mr. Judge. Put up the 4, put him on first. And with the dudes that are hitting behind him, are they good? Yeah, they're all right. Are they Aaron Judge? Nope. Especially in late game situations. If I'm a manager or a pitcher, Judge is not beating me. The other people in that lineup, okay, so be it. But Aaron Judge is not going to beat me, and I think he's going to be. And if this doesn't happen, it's completely insane. Yes, did he have a slow start? Sure. But when it comes down to it, let's see here. New York Yankees roster. All right, they're not going to give me their stats. Okay, never mind. But it's got to happen. It's like I keep saying, it would be insane to continue to pitch to this guy when he's hot. Now we've seen Judge get hot and then just fall off. We've seen Judge get hot, and here's the kicker, 2K crew. Here's the kicker. Can he stay healthy? It looks like the toe's healthy. That's been kind of the thing that's been bothering for the last couple of years. Can the toe stay healthy? Can he himself stay healthy? That is going to be the key. Can this whole aging lineup stay healthy? That's going to be the ultimate test here. Just kind of in the pitching staff has been insane, which is the pitching staff plus this potent lineup, which is why they have a plus 100 run differential, obviously. But is Carlos Rodon going to continue to stay healthy? Is Giancarlo Stanton going to continue to stay healthy? None of these three guys the last 5 years have played a complete season. And if they have, someone please fact check me on this, because if they have, it doesn't seem like it. And before I'm ready to crown the Yankees the best team in baseball, are they the best team right now? Yes, I will say that. And the reason for my hesitation was, is it them or is it the Phillies? It wasn't like me being a Red Sox fan and hating. It was just me, spur of the moment, trying to pick is it the Yankees or the Phillies? And I think right now you kind of have to give the nod to the Yankees. And oh shit. Standings. The Yankees are 8-2 in their last 10. Phillies are 6-4. Both have similar records at home. Both have similar records away, so there really isn't a big ordeal there. But I think starting pitching wise, you kind of have to give the nod to the Phillies. The way that team's been throwing the ball, it's hard to pick against them. Offensively, I think the Yankees are better offensively than the Phillies. I would even go so far to say that the Orioles are better offensively, even though their run differential is plus 74. I think it comes down to the Yankees just having a little bit better pitching staff than the Orioles right now. Kind of the sneaky team in here would be the Guardians. They're 39-20. They have a run differential of plus 78, 7-3 in their last 10. Check the National League. Yeah. I think when it comes down to it, and Haven't even talked about the Dodgers. Dodgers are 38-23, 5-5 in their last 10. All I have to say about the Dodgers is that they better hope that they don't play the Reds in the playoffs, because the Reds have beaten the dog shit out of them. I think they've won 4 or 5 straight against the Dodgers, which is insane. But good on the Reds. Good on the Reds. It seems like they are kind of the kryptonite to the Dodgers. So that's kind of, everyone just kind of assumed that the Dodgers were going to run away with this whole thing. But as far in all of the preseason criticisms I had with the Yankees was their pitching staff, and the biggest piece that they acquired was Juan Soto, which is paying dividends monumentally. And he went off today. I believe he had 2 home runs, which was awesome. But and we're just strictly talking about this year. We can talk about next year, the future moving forward at a whole other time, because the front office is saying, for the Yankees, said they're going to try to cut payroll going into next year. But if you're trying to cut payroll going into next year and you're going to sign Juan Soto, how does that work? I'm not really sure. So your guess is as good as mine with that. So like I said, we'll get into that on a whole other show here, I'm sure. But yeah, it's the criticism was the pitching, and the pitching has come through in a huge way. So, but the bottom line with this team is, can they stay healthy? Because we saw a handful of years ago, everyone got hurt, but everyone they brought up was producing at a very high level. And we saw last year and the year previous, so these dudes go down and they bring people up and they just don't pan out. So it always, we always talked about the Yankees farm system is having 2 or 3 major league teams down there, and it doesn't seem to be the case any longer. So maybe has that run dry? I'm not sure. But when we're talking about the best team in baseball, we have to talk about longevity, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's true. Is 125% true. And are the Yankees hitting on all cylinders right now? Yeah. Yes, they are. Yeah, you cannot argue it. And it's they're, everyone was so up in arms when they named Aaron Judge the captain of the team. He deserves it. I mean, how many times does this dude need to be in the MVP conversation to be considered that? And yes, I know Jeter was the last one. Jeets was this, the prototypical Yankee. And I think Judge is handling himself very similarly. So I think some of the gripe with Yankee fans is maybe they gave it to him too soon. I don't know. But if I'm a Yankee fan, I'm stoked. I'm stoked that guy's on my team. That guy's the captain of my team. And he has put the whole team, him and Soto, on their backs and just said, come with us, guys. We got this. Just give us a little bit of pitching, which they've given them a lot of pitching, and we'll keep hitting the ball really, really hard, really, really far, and we'll just beat the shit out of everybody, both hitting and pitching, and let's go win this. And that's essentially what they're doing. But like I said, this is June 2nd. Can you win the World Series on June 2nd? Absolutely not. Can you lose it? Sure can. And it looks like they are far away from losing it. But how long is that going to last? That's the key here, folks. How long is it going to last? If it can last all season, or the vast majority of it, the Yankees have to be the betting favorite going in to the playoffs. If it stands right now, them or the Phillies. I don't see the Phillies going anywhere. The Phillies are, I'm not going to say taking advantage of a beat up Atlanta Braves team, because every team has injuries. But when your ace and your stud go out in the first month and a half of the season, that's hard. And everyone's saying, well, when the Braves won the World Series last, Acuna went out with the other knee. Is that going to be the case this year? I don't know. When they won their last World Series, everyone looked at the trade deadline deals like, what are they doing? Why are they getting this guy? Well, each one of the guys that they got filled a role that was needed, and they played it extremely well. So they they hit every single trade huge. Can they do it again? I don't know. They're 33 and 24, 7 games back of the Phils. So yeah, they have a quite a vast lead over the Nationals, Mets, and Marlins. So are they still going to be in the hunt for a wild card? I think so. I definitely think they'll make the playoffs if they continue to go this route. But just be and don't rule them out of winning the division quite yet, because they are the Braves. But man, this Phillies team is too good to watch, too awesome to watch. And for all of you that are Bryce Harper haters, I'm sorry. Just watch the man. He is on something right now. And I mean on a run, not on something. But man, this Cardinals team is kind of putting up more of a fight than I thought they would tonight. It's still 4-4 bottom of 6 on that one. But yeah, that, like I said, it's hard for me to root for a Yankee. But when Aaron Judge is playing so well, you just kind of have to bite the bullet and be like, yep, he really is that good. He really is that good. So I'm just going to sit back and watch, because my Red Sox are the habitual 500 team, and they're sitting 30 and 30, 11 and a half games back with a plus 22 win differential, and split with the Detroit Tigers this weekend. So young team, I get it. Will they get their shit together? Hopefully. But when you're trying to piece together a team to compete with the Yankees and the Orioles day in and day out, man, that's hard. That's hard when you don't want to spend any money. Well, 2K crew, I'll get you out of here on that. Everyone have a fantastic week. Again, congratulations to all the graduates out there, and congratulations to the Marcellus baseball team. Hell of a run, boys. Cannot wait to see where you guys go next year. As always, Jabron, we're coming for you.